Hello, my name is Tabitha. Focus of today's practice is first chakra, root chakra, Muladhara. So if we'll all come to our mat, we'll start out seated. Muladhara is root chakra. It's located at the base of our spine, the tip of the tailbone, the sits bones, and all of the structures, soft tissue structures and internal organs that make up that space. So the energy that's cultivated and produced and sent out from root chakra is our foundation. It's our stability. It's where we stand and where we're rooted in our life. So during times such as these, where we're facing a global pandemic with uncertainty surrounding every nuance of this event, we might be feeling the symptoms of root chakra imbalance. So today we will come to our mat and we might be able to find a little bit of internal balance and internal stability through yoga practice. So sitting here on our mat, our sits bones are planted into the earth. We might be feeling stable. Maybe we're on, I'm propped up on a yoga mat for right now. We might be sitting on a block. We might just be sitting with our sits bones directly connected to the floor. And so coming into a space of centeredness within ourselves, so we can sit any seated position that feels good. We can bring the palms of our hands to our knees and then flip those palms, resting the backs of the hands on the knees, palms face the sky. We can select, if we'd like, to practice a mudra. So mudra that is compatible with root chakra is Prithvi mudra. Prithvi mudra is practiced by drawing in the ring finger towards the palm on both hands and then touching the tip of the ring finger to the tip of the thumb. So we're resting the back sides of our hands on our knees. So Prithvi mudra represents health and confidence and the foundation that supports our entire body. We can imagine the base of our spine and we can visualize a red, warm glow. And if we'd like, we can take that red, warm glow and spin that warm glow clockwise. Maybe 3 more breaths here. 3 more circulations. On our next inhale, we can exhale, release. We can start to do some hip circles just to wake everything back up. Let's bring our soles of the feet together, coming into a seated butterfly. Walking those feet out just a little bit further out than we think we need to have them. Let's inhale, lift the spine up and out of the hips. So we're floating our ribs up. We're using our spine like the bendy straw. So we've got to straighten and lengthen the bendy straw first. On our next inhale, we can exhale, start to send the heart forward. And we're floating our heart down towards our toes. Our toes are coming outside of our shins, and we're sure that we're not pressing and applying pressure to the shin bones or the knees. Just gently allowing gravity to pull our heart space towards the heart. Once we find a nice spot here that feels really good, we're maybe noticing the lower back opening and lengthening here just a little bit. We can inhale, reach the heart forward, exhale, roll head, neck, and shoulders. Relaxing here. Breathing all the way down into the tailbone. So maybe we're still imagining that warm red light. Maybe we're still circulating that warm red light around the pelvis. On our next inhale, we lift the gaze, we lift the heart first, lengthening the spine. Exhale, walking the hands back. Let's bring our knees together, and then let's roll up and over onto all fours. So as we're working to create stability, we can widen our fingers, so we're pressing the fingertips down into the floor. Our palms are slightly lifted, so like we're trying to suck up the energy from the earth. Through the palms of our hands, pressing through the fingertips, gently lifting into the palms, we're sucking up earth's energy here, just to find some rooted stability. We can tuck our toes under. So another way to create stability here in this pose, tucking the toes under. So instead of flattening them out, they're rolled and curled under here, planting toes into the earth, pushing the floor away, long through the spine, and we're reaching the tailbone towards the back wall. So we're trying to lengthen long, not flatten out, but just lengthen through the spine, and the crown of head reaches forward. Hip bones point down towards the earth. We are engaging Mula Bandha, root lock. So lifting, internally lifting into that pelvic floor. So we're drawing the pelvic floor. So the space and the soft tissues around the sits bones, drawing that up towards the navel, the belly button, and then pulling our hip bones in together. From here, we keep our left knee bent and we can inhale, press the left heel up towards the sky. So we're trying to keep our hips as square to the floor as possible. Press the heel up towards the sky, and then lift and rotate. Inhale, lift the heel. Exhale, roll the hip and drop the knee back down. Just a few rotations here. Inhaling to lift, press the heel towards the sky. Open the hip and pull the knee back in. Stabilize. Inhale. Exhale. And last one. Inhale. Exhale. And releasing that foot down. Let's widen the knees to the width of the mat. Pull the big toes together. Shift the hips back to the heels. Walking the hands forward. And then releasing the forehead to the floor. Just let our elbows melt down to the floor. Our tailbone anchors heavily back towards the heels. It doesn't have to touch, doesn't even have to go very far. We're just letting our tailbone be heavy towards our heels. 3 big breaths here. So again, pulling the breath down the length of the spine and breathing into the tailbone. Next inhale, let's come back up to all fours, walking the knees back underneath the hips, spreading out those fingertips, working to pull earth energy up into the palms of our hands. Pushing the floor away, tucking the toes. Moving on to the other side as we engage root lock, Mula Bandha, internally lifting upwards through the pelvic floor and inward through the hip bones. Let's inhale, press right heel towards the ceiling. Exhale, open the knee and release the knee. Inhale, heel to the ceiling. Exhale, open Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale up. Exhale open. Last time. Inhale up. Exhale open. Release the knee to the floor. Widen the knees out to the width of the mat. Pull the big toes in together. And shift hips back towards heel. Resting the forehead on the mat. Breathing here. We can walk our hands out a little bit, or we can even bring our arms back, maybe reaching for our ankles or our toes. Two big breaths. That tailbone anchors heavily towards the heels, doesn't have to touch. And on our next inhale, we'll walk the hands forward, back up to all fours. And let's inhale into kneeling plank and exhale, release the elbows. And releasing the body all the way down to the floor. So, hooking the ribs into the mat, let's walk our hips back towards the back edge of the mat. So we're leaving our ribs where they are and then making space here for the hips. We can open our arms out wide like a T and then place our right cheek on the floor and our gaze towards our left hand. Palms are down into the earth, maybe noticing if we're feeling any stretch or tension or pull through the arms, through the pecs, chest, the heart. Using or working with our left leg, let's inhale, pull the heel in towards the glutes, and then exhale, we're rolling the hip open. We're taking our left toes and trying to reach back to touch the fingertips on the right hand. It doesn't actually have to go far and they don't have to touch. Just making that intention. Inhaling in, exhaling, roll back down. And letting the foot fall to the floor. Right back into neutral. Inhale, heel towards the glutes. Exhale, roll the hip open, reach the toes back. Exhale, unwind. And find neutral. Inhale, heel towards the glute. Exhale, rolling open. Inhale, unwinding. And exhale, and releasing the foot to the floor. Let's change sides. So left cheek to the floor, looking towards our right fingers. Inhaling, right heel towards the glutes. Exhaling, rolling the hip over, reaching the toes towards the fingertips. Inhale here, and exhale, unwind. Inhaling, heel towards the glutes. Exhale, rolling the hip open, reaching for those fingers. Inhale here, and exhale, unwind. Releasing back to neutral. Inhale, heel towards glutes. Exhale, lift, reach back. Inhale, unwind, and exhale, release the foot to the floor. Let's bring our hands in line with our ribs, looking down towards the mat. Let's press into the toes, press into the knees like an inchworm. Pop the hips up first, press back, and shift into child's pose. Breathing here into our child's pose. Our next inhale, let's come forward here. let's step through with our left foot. So from here, we can wiggle the back knee a little closer to the edge of the mat, rocking back and forth, lengthening the front leg, releasing the nose towards the knee, and then rocking forward. Inhaling forward. Exhaling. Inhaling, let's rock forward and hold here. Let's heel toe the left foot out to the edge of the mat. So we're opening up our hip, creating lots of space. And from here, we can just rock side to side a little bit, maybe sway the hips, just noticing what we're feeling. Now, lengthening long through the spine. So trying to take the spine up and out of the hips, flotation and airiness through our lungs, opening the heart. And on our next inhale here, we might be able to exhale, dropping down to either an elbow if we'd like, maybe both elbows. We have the option to take our left elbow, tuck it underneath the left knee crease, and then apply a little bit of pressure into the hand to lift the knee and create space in the knee joint. Option is always to curl the toes under in the back. We can lift that knee if we'd like. Breathing all the way down into the tailbone. Maybe still spiraling and spinning the red light. Inhale here. Exhale, floating the knee to the floor. Unwinding and lengthening to push back up onto the palms. Let's shift back into our hip towards the heel, lengthening the front leg. Pressing the toes down into the mat. Inhaling to rock forward. Exhaling to rock back. Relaxing nose towards knee. And then rocking forward again here. This time let's heel toe our toes all the way over the left foot, all the way over to the right side of our mat. So we are crossing our left leg in front of the right, pointing the toes down into the mat, and shifting just slightly through the hips. So we're pulling our sits bone. You'll see the left hip glides back and then shifts just a little bit towards the right. Now we can plant our right hand here, long through the spine, and if it feels good, we can inhale, reach the left arm forward. Breathing all the way down the length of the left leg. One more breath. And exhaling to float that arm down. Planting the left hand, we can sway back and forth just a little bit. A little side to side motion here. And then from here, we can bend into that knee. We can heel toe the foot back to our neutral position. And then let's step back into all fours. Curling the toes under in the back, let's lift the sits bones towards the sky, downward facing dog. We can pedal the feet here. So as we pedal the feet, our sits bones reach towards the sky. So we're lifting sits bones long through the tailbone, pushing the earth away. So we're planting those hands down into the earth and just pushing. And on our next inhale, let's exhale, release the knees to the floor. Let's step through with our right foot. Shifting back and forth here. So we're just noticing, maybe notice any differences in this side from the last. Just a few times rocking back and forth here. And then inhaling, rock forward. And then we kind of walk and heel toe the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. Rocking forward here if it feels good. And then finding stillness, pressing the palms into the floor, lengthening through the spine. And on our next inhale, we can exhale, either hold, we can drop down onto elbows. We can hook right elbow under the right knee crease. A little bit of upward pressure through that elbow to traction the knee joint. We can curl the toes under the back, lift the knee if we'd like. Breathing all the way down the length of the leg. And on our next inhale, let's exhale, releasing hands, back knee, long through the spine and pressing up. On our next inhale, let's exhale, lengthen the front leg long, shift the hips back towards the heel. Lay side to side if you want, and then rock forward. Exhale to rock back. Inhale to rock forward. Holding here, and let's heel toe the right leg all the way across to the left edge of our mat. Moving and lengthening through the leg and planting our toes. We can sway side to side here just a little bit. Planting the left hand down into the mat. We can lengthen through our spine. Inhale, reaching forward through the right arm. Pressing those fingertips forward towards the wall. Breathing down the right side of the leg. Inhale here, exhale, release. Gently shifting back into the hips and rolling the hips slightly out. Rock forward. Heel toe the toe back to a neutral position. Let's step back into all fours. Curling our toes under here, let's inhale the sits bones high. We can pedal those feet. Press one heel down into the earth, bending the other knee, and bringing the awareness into sits bones of the long legs. Drawing the sits bone up towards the sky, melting through the backside of the leg. Breathing down into right sits bones, down into right heel. Inhale here, exhale, change side, left leg lengthens, right leg bends. Anchoring heel heavily towards the floor, long through the left leg, and lifting through the left sits bone. Breathing down the backside. And on our next inhale, let's exhale, release. Let's lower knees to the floor. Let's turn so we're long ways on our mat, so our knees are facing the wide side of our mat. Lots of options here. We'll come into frog. We can come into frog or any variation of frog or a wide stance child's pose. So for frog, our toes face the side walls. So we can walk our knees out wide. Toes point out to the side walls. If we are varying, and maybe this does not feel good, if we're taking care of our knees, if we just don't like this pose, that's okay. We can bring the great toes together, the two big toes together, walking the knees out as far as we'd like. We can even just drop down into a child's pose, whatever feels good. So kicking the toes out towards the side wall, dropping down onto elbows. So we have a couple of options. We can start to rock forward, so bringing the heart towards our hands, and then rocking back, drawing tailbone back towards the back wall. Maybe just a few times, rocking forward, and then exhaling to rock back. Maybe one or two more times. And then we can settle in, drawing the tailbone back towards the back wall. And holding here 3 breaths. Actively drawing tailbone towards the back wall. And our next inhale, we can start to rock forward and then pull the knees in together. And then let's walk back onto our hands into hero. Just walking back. And then we can swing those legs out in front of us. So now that we are maybe feeling a little more open, a little more flexibility or mobility in our hips, we're going to work our way through a SI joint reset. And what this does for us is now that we have moved and shifted energy in our root chakra, we can now re-stabilize and reset the foundation that is our sacrum. And what we're going to need for this is a block or a foam roller. And then we'll go ahead and lie back down onto our back. So we'll reach for those now, and we'll roll down onto our back. And we want to place our knees at 90-degree angle. So we're stacking the kneecaps over the hip joint. Everything is at 90 degrees. We're nice and strong and powerful. Root lock is engaged. And we'll tuck our block here between the knees. So right on the meaty part, just right around the, just under the knee joint. And then from here, we can inhale in and exhale, squeeze the block. And then release. Inhale in. Exhale, squeeze the block. And release. One more time. Inhale in. Exhale, squeeze. Squeeze everything you have. Squeeze, adduct. Use the inner thighs, and then we can release. Remove the block. Let's bring our knees to our chest. And then right back out to 90 degrees. Let's take our hands on the outside of the knees. On our next inhale, the exhale will squeeze our palms into the sides of our knees and squeeze the knees into our palms. And release. Inhale here. Exhale, squeeze, open, 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 and release. And last time, inhale. And exhale, squeeze. And release. Knees into chest. And then we can drop the soles of the feet and bobble the knees. Using the momentum of our knees, let's roll up and over and make our way to seated. So reconnecting here. Long through the spine. Let's allow our eyes to close or just gaze gently down towards the floor. And on our next inhale, let's circle sweep our arms out wide to the side. Collect all of the positive energy that surrounds us in this space. Palms meet at the top. Exhale, pull positive energy directly into our hip space, pressing our thumbs into the sternum. And may we each go out into the remainder of our day, finding many blessings and great peace. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today.